Littleton was once a happy place. Nestled in the rolling hills, it was a town where everyone knew each other, and the sense of community was palpable. The streets were always bustling with friendly faces, and the air was filled with the sound of laughter and chatter. It was a place where people felt safe and connected, a true embodiment of small-town charm. People smiled at each other, they helped their neighbors. It was common to see folks lending a hand, whether it was fixing a fence, carrying groceries, or simply sharing a cup of coffee on a lazy afternoon. The spirit of camaraderie was infectious, and it made Littleton a special place to live. Trina Grant was a big reason why. With her kind smile and sparkling eyes, she was the heart and soul of Littleton. Trina had a way of making everyone feel important and valued. She was always there to lend an ear or offer a shoulder to cry on. Her presence was a comforting constant in the lives of the townspeople. She was kind and generous. Trina went out of her way to help others, whether it was organizing community events, volunteering at the local shelter, or simply being a friend to those in need. Her generosity knew no bounds, and she inspired others to be their best selves. Trina saw the good in everyone. Trina's warmth touched everyone. She brought people together. Her ability to see the best in people and bring them together was nothing short of magical. She had a knack for creating a sense of unity and belonging, and her influence was felt in every corner of the town. Her death in a car accident devastated Littleton. The news of her passing spread like wildfire, leaving a trail of heartbreak in its wake. The town was plunged into mourning, and the loss was felt deeply by all who knew her. Vigils were held and tears were shed as the community grappled with the sudden void left by her absence. The town felt empty without her. The once lively streets now seemed eerily quiet, and the sense of community that Trina had fostered began to wane. People went about their daily lives, but there was a palpable sense of loss that hung in the air. It was as if the very soul of Littleton had been taken away. It was like a light had gone out. The warmth and vibrancy that Trina had brought to the town were sorely missed. As the sun set over Littleton, casting long shadows over the empty streets, it was clear that things would never be the same. But even in the darkness, the memory of Trina's kindness and generosity continued to shine, a beacon of hope for a community in mourning. Check one, check. John Conley was different from Trina. He was the town's mayor. Conley was greedy and power-hungry. He cared about himself more than anyone else. With Trina gone, Conley took control. He let the town fall apart. Buildings crumbled. The park became overgrown. Littleton became a shadow of its former self. Jason Grant, Trina's husband, was heartbroken. He couldn't bear to live in Littleton without her. Jason moved to the edge of town. He lived as a recluse in their old farmhouse. Jason spent his days lost in memories. He missed Trina terribly. He couldn't imagine a future without her. The town's decline only deepened his despair. Jason Grant, a man once full of life and dreams, now found himself enveloped in a shroud of sorrow. Trina, his beloved wife, had been his anchor, his guiding star. Her sudden departure left a void so vast, it seemed to swallow him whole. The vibrant fields of Littleton, once a symbol of their shared dreams, now felt like a barren wasteland to him. Every corner of the town echoed with memories of her laughter, her touch, her presence. Unable to cope with the constant reminders of what he had lost, Jason made the heart-wrenching decision to move to the outskirts of Littleton. He chose their old farmhouse, a place that held the essence of their love, as his sanctuary. The farmhouse, with its creaking floors and weathered walls, became a silent witness to his grief. It was here that Jason sought solace, away from the prying eyes of the townsfolk who pitied him. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, but time did little to heal his wounds. Jason's routine became a monotonous cycle of reliving the past. He would often sit by the window, staring out at the wheat fields, lost in memories of Trina. The golden waves of grain reminded him of her golden hair, flowing freely in the wind. He could almost hear her voice calling out to him, but it was just the wind playing cruel tricks on his mind. The decline of Littleton mirrored Jason's own descent into despair. The once thriving town was now a shadow of its former self. Businesses closed, families moved away, and the streets grew quieter with each passing day. The town's decay felt like a reflection of his own broken heart. The vibrant community events that Trina had once organized were now distant memories replaced by an eerie silence. Jason's grief was a heavy burden, one that he carried alone. He avoided social interactions, fearing the well-meaning but painful condolences from neighbors. The farmhouse, with its familiar yet haunting ambiance, became his refuge. He spent countless hours in the attic sifting through old photographs and letters, each one a testament to the love they had shared. The memories brought both comfort and pain, a bittersweet reminder of what once was. As the seasons changed, so did the landscape around the farmhouse. The vibrant colors of spring and summer gave way to the muted tones of autumn and the stark whiteness of winter. Each season brought its own set of memories, each one a reminder of Trina's absence. The farmhouse, once filled with warmth and laughter, now stood as a monument to his sorrow. Jason's quiet grief was a testament to the depth of his love for Trina. It was a love that transcended time and space, a love that would forever be etched in his heart. Though the world around him continued to change, his love for her remained constant, a beacon of light in his darkest moments. One day, Jason found something amazing in the attic. It was a detailed miniature model of Littleton. Every building, every street was perfectly recreated. Jason soon discovered the model was magical. When he made changes to the miniature, the real Littleton changed too. It was a chance to reshape the town. But how would he use this newfound power? Jason had always been a curious soul, often rummaging through the old dusty attic of his grandfather's house. The attic was a treasure trove of forgotten memories, filled with vintage items, old photographs, and relics from a bygone era. On this particular day, as the golden rays of the setting sun filtered through the small attic window, casting a warm glow on the cluttered space, Jason stumbled upon something extraordinary. Nestled in a corner, covered in a thick layer of dust, was a large wooden box. Intrigued, Jason carefully opened it, revealing a detailed miniature model of Littleton, the quaint town where he had spent his entire life. The model was incredibly intricate, with every building, every street, and even the smallest details perfectly recreated. It was as if someone had captured the essence of Littleton and shrunk it down to fit inside this box. As Jason marveled at the craftsmanship, he noticed something peculiar. The model seemed to have a life of its own. Tiny lights flickered in the windows of the miniature houses, and he could almost hear the faint sounds of the bustling town. It was then that Jason realized this was no ordinary model, it was magical. With a sense of wonder and excitement, Jason began to experiment. He moved a tiny tree from one side of the model to the other, and to his astonishment, the real tree in Littleton shifted as well. He rearranged the miniature cars, and the real cars in the town followed suit. The possibilities were endless. Jason had the power to reshape Littleton, to make it better, to fix its flaws, and to bring joy to its residents. But with great power came great responsibility. Jason knew he had to be careful. The changes he made could have far-reaching consequences. He spent hours contemplating how to use this newfound power. Should he fix the potholes on Main Street? Should he rebuild the old, dilapidated school? Should he create a beautiful park for the children to play in? The choices were overwhelming. As he pondered, Jason remembered the stories his grandfather used to tell him about the town's history. Littleton had once been a thriving community, full of life and laughter. But over the years, it had fallen into disrepair. Businesses had closed, families had moved away, and the town had lost its spark. Jason realized that he had the opportunity to bring that spark back, to restore Littleton to its former glory. With a newfound sense of purpose, Jason set to work. He carefully planned each change, considering the impact it would have on the town and its residents. He fixed the broken streetlights, making the town safer at night. He repaired the old school, giving the children a place to learn and grow. He created a beautiful park, complete with a playground and a pond, where families could gather and enjoy the outdoors. As the days turned into weeks, the town of Littleton began to transform. The residents were amazed at the sudden improvements, and a sense of hope and optimism spread through the community. People started to take pride in their town once again, and Littleton began to thrive. Jason watched with satisfaction as the town came back to life. He knew that he had made the right choices, and he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The magical model had given him the power to make a difference, and he had used it wisely. In the end, Jason realized that the true magic was not in the model itself, but in the love and care he had for his town and its people. Littleton was more than just a place. It was a community, a family, and a home. And with a little bit of magic and a lot of heart, Jason had brought it back to life.